Hello friends, in the second part of the sphenoid bone, we will discuss greater wing, lesser wing, superior orbital fissure, pterygoid process. There are two pterygoid processes. So first of all, greater wing, as I told you in the previous class, that there are two greater wings and two lesser wings are there in the sphenoid bone. First of all, greater wing. Greater wing has three surfaces. Okay, this one is the superior surface. This is one is the superior surface, that is known as cerebral surface, because this surface has sulci and gyri for the cerebral hemisphere. Okay, this is the cerebral surface. Now on the lateral side, you can see this is the lateral surface. Okay, the lateral surface, and third one towards the orbit, this is the orbital surface. So greater wing has three surfaces: cerebral surface, lateral surface, and anteriorly there is a orbital surface. Okay, now cerebral surface. In the cerebral surface, you can see the sulci and gyri for the inferior surface of cerebral hemisphere. Next to this, there is a foramen rotundum. This is foramen rotundum. From the foramen rotundum, maxillary nerve passes. Okay, now second foramen is a foramen ovale. From the foramen ovale, mandibular nerve, accessory meningeal artery, lesser petrosal nerve, and imaginary vein passes. Posterolateral to this, there is a foramen spinosum. You can see in this. This is the foramen spinosum. From the foramen spinosum, middle meningeal artery and meningeal branch of mandibular nerve, that is also known as nervus spinosus, that passes there. That's why this is also known as foramen spinosum, because the meningeal branch of mandibular nerve is also known as nervus spinosus. Okay, this is all about the cerebral surface. After that, the lateral surface. You can see in this lateral surface, you can better appreciate here, there is a horizontal ridge. This ridge divides the lateral surface into two. This is the temporal surface, because it is towards the temporal fossa, that's why it is known as temporal surface. And below to ridge, there is a pentagonal structure known as infratemporal surface. Okay, so this ridge, this is known as infratemporal crest. This crest divides the lateral surface of the temporal bone into two. Superior surface is temporal surface, and inferior surface, inferior to this crest, is a infratemporal surface. Lateral surface gives attachment to the deep fibers of the temporalis muscle, while the infratemporal surface, this is important, the infratemporal surface of the lateral surface of greater wing of sphenoid gives origin to the superficial head of lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, here you can say upper head of lateral pterygoid muscle. After that, there is a orbital surface. The orbital surface, it is quadrilateral in shape. This orbital surface forms the posterior part of lateral wall of orbit. Okay, now come to the different tip and margins. This is the tip of greater wing of sphenoid. This tip of greater wing of sphenoid is also known as parietal margin, because this parietal margin articulates with the sphenoidal angle of parietal bone, okay, at the level of pterion. Okay, now this is the lateral margin. You can see this is the lateral margin, and this is the posterior margin. This is posterior margin, and this is the lateral margin. Okay, lateral margin articulates with the temporal bone, while its posterior margin, this is the posterior margin. This is important. The posterior margin starts from the body of sphenoid and goes up to the lateral margin and forms a spinous projection known as spine of sphenoid. Okay, in between the spine of sphenoid and body of sphenoid, there is a semicircular structure forms in the bone. There is a semicircular structure form. Same time, posteriorly there is a petrous part of temporal bone is here. Somewhere here there is a petrous part of temporal bone. So the semicircular part of posterior margin of greater wing of sphenoid and the semicircular part of petrous part of temporal bone, they unite and forms a foramen that is known as foramen lacerum. So the foramen lacerum is not a part of greater wing of sphenoid. This is formed by the contribution of greater wing of sphenoid and petrous part of temporal bone. So somewhere here there is a foramen lacerum. Okay, now come to the spine of sphenoid. Now come to the spine of sphenoid. Here it is a spine of sphenoid at the junction of lateral margin or squamosal margin and posterior margin. Okay, the spine of sphenoid, tip of the spine of sphenoid gives attachment to sphenomandibular ligament. Medially, the spine of sphenoid is related with the chorda tympani branch of facial nerve and auditory tube, while laterally it is related with the auriculotemporal nerve. Okay, now come to the lesser wing. This is the lesser wing. You can see this is the lesser wing. Lesser wing has a tip towards the lateral wall of superior orbital fissure. Okay, and roots, there are two roots, anterior root and posterior root. Both the root encloses canal known as optic canal. I have told you earlier, from the optic canal, optic nerve, ophthalmic artery and meninges passes. By these two roots, the lesser wing articulates with the body of sphenoid. Okay, after that, surfaces. This is the superior surface. Superior surface forms the floor of anterior cranial fossa. Its inferior surface, this inferior surface forms the roof of superior orbital fissure. Okay, now anterior border, this anterior border articulates with the orbital part of frontal bone and its posterior border is free. Okay, come to the superior orbital fissure. This is superior orbital fissure. This superior orbital fissure is related with superiorly with the, you can see, lesser wing of sphenoid. Inferiorly it is related with the, here you can see, this is the greater wing of sphenoid. Medially it is related with the body of sphenoid and laterally it is free. Okay, now the contents of the superior orbital fissure. Some structures enters the orbit. Okay, these are upper and lower division of oculomotor nerve, fourth cranial nerve that is trochlear nerve, and the three branches of the ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. These three branches are lacrimal, frontal and nasociliary. After that, abducent nerve. Okay, then orbital branch of middle meningeal artery and sympathetic twig. These are the structure which enters the orbit. Some structures appears from the orbit. They are superior and inferior ophthalmic vein and recurrent meningeal branch of lacrimal artery. Okay, now come to the pterygoid processes. There are two pterygoid processes. You can see here there are two pterygoid processes. One is here and one is here. These processes actually they are the projection from the body of sphenoid. They are the projection from the body of sphenoid. They goes downward. Posteriorly, this process forms two plates. On the lateral side there is a lateral pterygoid plate, and the medial side there is a medial pterygoid plate. Okay, and anteriorly these two plates unite to form a pterygoid process. This pterygoid process forms the posterior boundary of sphenopalatine fossa. Okay, now something about the plates. The lateral pterygoid plate has two surfaces. This is lateral surface, this is medial surface. Same time, and the same time medial pterygoid plate has two surfaces. This is the lateral surface and this is medial surface. So the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate gives origin to lower head of lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, while its medial surface gives origin to tensor veli palatini muscle. Now, one more thing. Posteriorly, two plates ununited and forms a fossa. This fossa is known as pterygoid fossa. And superiorly, there is one more fossa. You can see here. Superiorly, there is one more fossa is there. That is known as the scaphoid fossa. Okay. So, large fossa is pterygoid fossa and the small fossa is scaphoid fossa. Come to the medial pterygoid plate. Lateral surface of medial pterygoid plate as well as whole of the scaphoid fossa, not the scaphoid fossa, whole of the pterygoid fossa gives attachment to tensor veli palatini muscle. And the medial wall, this is the medial wall of medial pterygoid plate. This forms the lateral wall of posterior part of nose. Okay. Now, see here. Superiorly, the medial pterygoid plate forms a tubercle-like structure known as pterygoid tubercle. This pterygoid tubercle presents just inferior to the pterygoid canal. Okay, and in the last lecture I have told you superior to the pterygoid canal there is a lingula. So pterygoid canal inferiorly is covered by the pterygoid tubercle and superiorly it is covered by the lingula. Okay. Now something about the borders of medial pterygoid plate. Anterior border of the medial pterygoid plate, you can see here, anterior border of the medial pterygoid plate articulates with the perpendicular plate of palatine bone, while its posterior border, superiorly it forms the pterygoid tubercle and inferiorly the medial pterygoid plate forms a hook-like structure. That is known as pterygoid hamulus. The pterygoid hamulus gives attachment to superior constrictor of pharynx and pterygomandibular raphe, and the tendon of tensor palati muscle wind rounds this pterygoid hamulus. After that, the ossification of the sphenoid bone. The sphenoid bone ossifies partly in the membrane and partly in the cartilage. The part ossifying in the membranes are greater wing of sphenoid, except their roots, pterygoid processes, except their pterygoid hamulus, and part ossifying in the cartilages are body of the sphenoid, lesser wing, sphenoidal concha. They are the thin plates which covers the sphenoidal air sinuses. Roots of greater wing. Okay, by these root, this attached with the lateral surface of body, and pterygoid hamulus. It is a lower part of the medial pterygoid plate. Okay. After that, the applied part. Whenever there is a premature ossification of the sutures between the pre and post sphenoidal part and sphenoid and occipital bone is often observed as achondroplasia. What is achondroplasia? This is the most common type of short limb dwarfism. In this type of dwarfism, there is a short arms, short legs, but enlarged head is seen. Okay, one more applied is there in the anterior part of hypophyseal fossa. In the anterior part of hypophyseal fossa, sometimes there is a vascular foramen termed as craniopharyngeal canal. From this craniopharyngeal canal, Sometimes this extends inferiorly to the skull and said to be a original portion of Rathke's pouch. What is Rathke's pouch? Rathke's pouch, it is an evagination of the roof of developing mouth in front of buccopharyngeal membrane, and it gives rise to the adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary. Okay. Thank you very much. This is all about the sphenoid bone.